Hello, everybody. Good afternoon at the unusual time of 1:30. Unfortunately, due to some family stuff, couldn't be helped. So we are on an hour later, but we will be back to normal tomorrow, I do promise. Brian is joining me today. This could be my worst ever hosting day. I'm not going to lie. Brian, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. A better weekend than you, by the sounds of things.
Oh, mate, honestly.
No, I was golfing all weekend, so it was a nice change from the norm, but really enjoyed it. It was nice to get back into it. So yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, it's right. So went out for a wee drink Saturday and it ended up going till 6 in the morning. And then Sunday was just a write off. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the guys who bailed me out on Sunday. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. How was the golf, Brian?
Yeah, it was good. The weather was absolutely unbelievable. So it was
I wouldn't know what the
as
weather was
as
like.
as you can see by my face being redder than normal. It was very hot. So it was a really nice weekend. It was baking hot, so it was really nice. So as I say,
And a nice Rangers home win, Brian.
I know. 2nd of February was the last one, so I wasn't really holding out much hope, but a pleasant surprise walking around the golf course, seeing the goals flying in. It was like a flashback to the glory days when we used to do that. But yeah, it was a nice surprise to come in and see a 4-0 win, and the Aberdeen fans that were golfing as well weren't too pleased. So that was nice to get it up then.
I know. Yeah, well, I've just managed to watch the highlights back. My eyes couldn't have focused on a TV on Sunday, right? But fortunately, tonight at 7:30, we've got guys who did see the full game, who will be able to go into it in a lot more detail and obviously preview Wednesday's game against Dundee United as well. But again, it appeared so, Brian, and people in the comments can let us know, yeah or nay, as though it was another one of those kind of underwhelming first halves.
Yes, it's been the story of the season, really, hasn't it? Underwhelming first halves and then getting it together and going on and winning. The only difference yesterday was we didn't concede, because normally we concede and then come back and we'll get a win. So it was nice that although we didn't play well, we didn't concede, and then once we got our act together, that the goals were flying. So it was nice. It was just nice to see a clean sheet at home, if anything else.
Mm.
Because that's been sadly lacking for a long time. So just nice to get a win and a clean sheet.
Is Connor Higgins on? Right. So, for people who don't watch the Random Rabble, you will have no idea what that means. But as it stands right now, yes, Connor will be hosting tonight at 7:30. Absolutely. I don't know. Did you see Leon Balogun's interview, Brian?
No, I haven't seen that yet. No.
No. Well, basically, what he was saying is age is but a number.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what he said. He wants to stay at Rangers. He wants to play on. We could probably do worse next season than hanging on to Leon Balogun.
Certainly for his experience. I mean, he's still got a good turn of pace for a guy at 37. So
Mm.
he would certainly be a guy that you would have as a backup. I think is the sort of best word you could use. I think he would certainly. I mean, he's not on a big wage, so that's a bonus. Um, I think that would be the only way that he could stay at the club, is under the understanding that he would be an understudy to whoever the new pairing is going to be. So a good pro, never complains, does his job. He's a role model professional at the club. So his influence in the squad could be important. Of course, he's one of the few guys that are still at the club that has won a league. So you've got to remember that as well. He's been over the course and won a league. So that would be nice experience to have in the squad as well.
Yeah, and singing the blues is saying the players are probably blinded by T's tan in the first half yesterday.
Well, certainly coming out of the tunnel they would have, because that's all they would have seen was his blinding teeth coming out of the out of the tunnel. So
I never said teeth. You said teeth, not me. I
because
never
he
said
comes
it.
because he sits right opposite the tunnel. I believe that you've sat there. So
He does.
yeah, that's the first. That would have been. They probably thought it was a sniper in the in the stands, but no, it was Ian T's teeth. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, we've got one of these, Bryan.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the day. If you love a good question, then we're coming your way with the question of the day. Question of the day.
Were you singing the song there, Bryan?
I was humming away at it, yeah.
Because I could just see your wee face going.
Yeah. I like it.
Right, so today's question of the day is a fairly simple one. It's from the Trying Scotsman. If you could remove one invention or discovery from history, what would it be? I think that's quite a good question, to be fair.
It is.
Mine would be the aeroplane, because I'm terrified of them.
I mean, is religion an invention or discovery?
Oh, let's not go there, Bryan. Come on now. Let's not go there. Let's talk about that in private, shall we?
Okay.
AJ's saying mobile phone. See, something nice and happy, Bryan. You've got to bring up religion, haven't you? Social media, the internet. I mean, could we live without the internet?
Don't know, could we? We're so used to it now. It's
Could
very
you go
difficult,
back
isn't
to
it?
having to find out the scores in Rangers games through a teletext?
Oh, I used to love CFAX. Yeah, I would happily go back to CFAX. Yeah, I could do that because that's where I think it was page 302 was the transfer rumor page, or was it 321? Yeah. 321 was the transfer rumor page, and yeah, I've still got sort of numbers in my head that I remember. That was a glorious time. See it because when you got a new telly, the first thing you asked as a kid was, "Is it got CFAX?" Because that was your internet back in the day, CFAX. So, yeah, that was really good. So yeah, I could get back as long as there's CFAX.
I don't think that people would really take the CFAX now, Bryan.
No.
I should have known that would have been multiple man's answer, right? I'm not even going to bring that up on the screen, right? But yeah, life was so much better before the internet. I suppose it was, Bryan.
It was. There was nothing to sort of measure yourself or sort of gauge on how other people are living their lives. You just lived your own life and enjoyed it, and it was just a nice, simple time to live. And we were probably the last generation to live like that because, the 90s came, and then I think it was about the early noughties, you could argue, that the internet really took off. I know the internet was on the go in the early 90s, but it wasn't great. Let's be honest. I mean, dial-up was horrendous, wasn't it? We all remember the dial-up tone, and you're waiting to get connected. It was horrendous. It took ages. So, no, I think we're the last generation to sort of remember a simple life without mobiles, without internet. It was great.
And Tim Sharp's always got to take it to that next below the belt level, isn't he? He's always he's just got, he can't help himself. No. Right, listen, anyway, we got back to Rangers, and Jimmy Nicholl's been speaking, Bryan, and he says, obviously Jimmy Nicholl, former player, former assistant manager, etc. He's been saying that Rangers need to get their finger out, get a new manager in place, and start getting things moving, or it's going to be a bumpy start to the new season. Now, from what we've been told, Bryan, it's going to be mid-June before this takeover's done, according to Dave King. I'm not sure I 100% believe that, but however, we can only go on the information that we've got. Jimmy Nicholl's got a point, hasn't he?
He's got a massive point. This managerial appointment has to happen as soon as the season ends, as far as I'm concerned. As you said, they've got the qualifiers for the Champions League, I think, mid-July, I believe, because obviously with Bilbao losing the semi-final against Manchester United, that meant that that's brought our Champions League qualification forward. So that's brought up its own problems. Signing players, obviously. Players need to know who the manager is, who they're who they're going to work under. So the manager appointment is absolutely crucial now. That has to happen, as I say, very soon after the season finishes, so that players know who they're going to play under. Simple as that. I mean, when the players go away on holiday, for example, after the last day, they're going to want to know who the new manager is. They want to know who their new sort of boss is going to be. So, yeah, things have got to happen very soon. I mean, looking at the odds today, Gerrard is the heavy favourite now. I mean, second favourite's 6 or 8 to 1. So that's the biggest gap I've seen for a while in the betting. So
sorry, Brian. I was just saying, Danny Rowe came out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. With Derek McInnes, and then of course you had Chris Boyd. Being very nice to Derek McInnes on the old scan.
Funnily enough, funny that, isn't it? No, but as you say, there's a couple of names that have jumped out all of a sudden from nowhere, but they've disappeared as quickly as they came. So that's kind of good news. But the one constant, the one that's been pretty much favourite, albeit for a day or two here or there, is Steven Gerrard. And I think everybody's of the belief now that will be the new manager.
But then we're hearing conflicting reports that it won't be anybody who's had a former association with the club.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not a time for me to get somebody that doesn't know the league, doesn't know how to operate in Scotland. You need somebody that's operated in Scotland and been there. This is not a time for a raw manager like we did with Steven Gerrard when we first got him. Time is not of the essence now. We need somebody in now that'll have enough of an influence to get guys in, that'll want to play for him. And out of that list that's on the bookies, I'm afraid there's only one name jumps out, and it's Steven Gerrard.
Is it really that mega important? And I don't know the answer to this question, right? Is it really that mega important that we get somebody in who knows Scottish football and knows how Scottish football works? Or do we just get a decent manager?
No, I've got the belief we need somebody that knows the league. It's been apparent. Certainly, we thought Clement was the answer, and he just didn't get Scotland, did he? He didn't get going away to Motherwell, going away to Dundee, going away to difficult places and just grinding a result out. He just didn't get that, and I'm afraid you need to have guys in there that are of the understanding that we need results now. There's no draws are not acceptable. It's just not the way up here, and the quicker we get back to getting demanding wins, the players expecting wins, being disappointed when it's a draw, not we'll learn from this, we'll move on. The same old claptrap that keeps getting brought out after every game if it's a draw or a loss. We need to get back to consistently winning away from home in the league, and making Ibrox a complete fortress.
We need to get back to winning at home.
Well, yeah, winning at home, exactly. Yeah, but we need to get back to the days of being competitive in the league. It's been a while since we've been seriously competitive in the league. So that's something that has to change. And I think you could easily argue the last time that we were competitive was when Clement had us top of the league, and then from there on it was a complete disaster in the January. So no, we need. For me, we need guys to just get the league, get the club, and get us back on track.
What's this about Ancelotti's son? Is this people winding me up in the comments?
No, I believe his son's been linked to he's the manager at. Goodness me, Ancelotti. Oh, he's a manager. So, is it? Oh, no, I'm not going to say. I've seen his name. I've seen his name linked in the social media. I did see.
He's a manager somewhere. Will we just say that?
Yeah. It's bugging me. As soon as somebody says it, he's assistant in Madrid. Oh.
Well, there you go. He's assistant to his dad. So him and his dad can swap roles. He can come into Rangers, Ancelotti, and be the assistant with his boy as a manager. But look, Jordy's making the point, and I completely agree. I'm not so sure it's somebody who needs to necessarily know the Scottish game. If you get a manager in with the right mentality, the right temperament, he's good at what he does. He's got a name that's decent enough to draw some quite good players, and his mentality is to win at all costs. I think that. Well, I don't know. That's if that was my job, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, Brian. But I don't necessarily think it necessarily has to be somebody who knows the Scottish game. I just think it has to be somebody with the right mentality, the right attitude. And yeah, I know that's difficult, but I don't know. It's a hard one, and it's a really, really hard one. And can I just say thanks to everybody for all the nice comments about me sobering up. I didn't know so many of you cared. But
And I didn't even have an alcoholic drink over the weekend, so get it up, yes.
Well, it's times have changed, Brian. You've changed.
The roles have been reversed.
Yes, they most certainly have. But it would appear, though, now again, I will repeat myself, we have zero inside sources, right? And I will never pretend that we do. But that Thelwell has already started his Rangers work, Brian. We have been linked with, and I quote, the Brazilian Pogba, Metinho, who is currently on loan at FC Basel. Now, the reason that this is interesting to me, whether there's truth in it or not, if there is, and we're just going to go with if there is, right? In fact, let's pretend that we know stuff, right? Let's just pretend, Brian. Right?
We're in the know.
Nobody will know any different, right? So this boy Metinho, Brian, right? Defensive sort of ish midfielder. If we're looking at that, does that say anything about the possibility of where a certain Mr. Nico Raskin's future lies?
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, this guy's been at Troyes now for 3 seasons now. He's had 3 loans. So, Troyes signed him, and then they've loaned him 3 seasons in a row now. He doesn't appear to score a lot of goals. I believe his contract's up this summer, from what I'm seeing on transfer.
I think it's next summer.
Is it? Oh, yes, it is. No, yes, it is actually. Yeah, 2026.
He's got a year left.
He's got a year left. Do you remember the Serbian Zidane?
Who was that?
Mladenovic.
Oh yeah. I do.
So please, I'm not hearing this Brazilian Pogba crap. No, I've been burnt with that one before, so I'm once bitten, twice shy. So no.
But apparently, and multiple men saying it, and I've read up about it. Apparently, he's done really well since he went into Basel. He's helped them a lot, and he's looked like a bit of a player, which would probably explain why there's a few Italian and German teams looking at him as well, Brian.
Possibly, yes. I mean, what was it? 10 games he played for Basel, so no goals, 2 assists. So, it's. The thing is, we're pretty stacked in midfield now, aren't we? We've got Bryan, we've got Cameron coming in the summer, we've got Diomande, we've got Raskin. So unless something's happening in that midfield where somebody is leaving, I'm not sure where this Metinho is going to fit in. So yeah, it's going to be I think it's a watch this space one, isn't it?
Well, the talk was 4 million, wasn't it? That was the talk. And then obviously because he's only got a year left, the price might be able to come down. But
yes,
if we're spending, it doesn't matter if we've got new owners with loads of money, Brian. If we're spending upwards of 3 million on a player, you would like to think he's going to be a starter, would you not?
100%. If you're spending that sort of money, that is a guy that you are starting every week, as far as I'm concerned. He's not coming in to bed in or get him adjusted. He is starting every game. So we need to, if you're signing anybody over the 3-4 million mark, that's starter material. That's what I would imagine is starter material. If you're spending that sort of cash, that is people that are going to start. So yeah, if we're signing him for whatever money that's getting spoken about, then he's coming in to start. He's not he's coming to sit on the bench.
Paul's point's a valid one. You could say that about Danilo as well.
Yeah, exactly. 6 million. I mean, how on earth we don't start? You've got to hope with Danilo that the new manager comes in and fancies him. Let's be honest. He likes what he sees with him, and he'll get something out of him because, he was going to come on at one point in one game, wasn't he? And then he was told to sit down. He threw an absolute tantrum. So he's obviously fit to play. So I'm not quite sure what the reason for not starting him.
But I'm also always a bit curious that we're linked with players and we don't have a manager.
Yeah,
That's why I always take it with a massive pinch of salt. I know that a lot of the ways that teams work now is the sporting director kind of picks the players and your manager's now a coach, so to speak. But the fact that you don't actually have a manager in place yet, that's why I agree with what Jimmy Nicholl was saying. We need to get a manager in pronto because you can't just start going and buying players and then bring a manager in.
No, you need to know who. If we're signing players, like say Metinho, for example, Metinho's going to turn around and say, "Well, who's the manager?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know yet." He's like, "Well, I'm not coming to you unless I know who the manager is." It? You know, this is it's all very well. Thurble saying he's going to sign players, but he's not working with them every day. You know, the manager's got to size these guys up and see if there's a chat to them and sell the club to them and see what sort of response.
What formation are you going to play? How am I going to
Yes.
settle in? What do you expect of me? And what role do you want me to play in? Players need to know that stuff.
Absolutely. And there's no way we're signing players when we don't know the manager. There's just not unless the manager's already been selected and they're keeping it under wraps until a certain point.
I don't know, a certain cup final, perhaps.
Possibly 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock on 24th of May, is it? 26th?
Yeah. I don't know where it is because we're not in it. I've not paid.
We're not in it. So no.
I don't. It means nothing if we're not in it, right?
No,
it means
it's a
absolute.
Diddy Cup.
It's a total Diddy Cup. I'll tell you who I'm delighted for though, Brian. Hamza Agaman.
Yes. Wow.
Well, I've seen the goal a few times, right? And part of me is going, great finish, up on a volley, boom, corner of the net. Another part of me is going, I mean, if that was against us, I'd probably be expecting the goalkeeper to save it. But great for him.
Honestly, see when you see that goal, I mean, the guy that I don't know the defender that kicked it out of defence, but he didn't just chip it out. He gave it a fair sort of pelt the defender, so it was coming at him with a bit of pace, and he still managed to kill it at the same time, bob it up and volley it. I mean, it's absolutely I mean, it's goal of season stuff considering where it came from, the speed. He's controlled it. He's pitched it up and he's volleyed it in a winner. I mean, it's an outstanding finish. But that is Igaman. He'll do things like that. He'll give you moments of magic, and he'll give you the sort of you don't know quite what you're going to get from him. He'll give you moments like that, and that's the thing that's nice about Igaman. He's inventive, and he's not scared to try take on that sort of finishes.
No, and multiple man, 16 goals in his debut season. With not many matches actually playing at number 9. There's a reason, obviously, he was up for Young Player of the Season, but you have to say, although he's had his goal droughts, if you like, Brian, for a young guy to come into the league first season, he's been brilliant.
Yes, he really has. I mean, Clement signed him in the pretext that he wasn't going to be ready for the first 3 months. Well, he made an appearance at Tannadice first, and everybody's like, "Wow, who's this?" Didn't see him for a while, and then all of a sudden, he came on the scene, and that was him. He was off. He's a confidence player, though. He doesn't appear to be a guy that lacks it. He'll try. He's not scared of, if something doesn't work, his head doesn't go down. He keeps trying. He'll try all the flicks, the nutmegs. He'll try anything. His confidence is certainly not lacking. So yeah, let's look forward to next season when Igaman gets a good preseason in them, and then that'll be it. I mean, I always say judge guys after they've had a preseason, because that is an important part of football. Preseasons, you cannot underestimate how important that is. Preventative for injuries, gets them fit. So let's see a lot of these guys after the preseason.
And first of all, quickly, I'll ask you. We're on late today, Cammy, because I had some stuff going on and I couldn't get any cover, so we just went a bit later. Back to normal tomorrow. Have you seen the new apparent leak kit?
Yes.
Thoughts?
Quite like it, actually. Quite like it.
Collar?
It's a throwback. Yeah, I like a collar. Yeah, I like a collar.
You do like a collar, don't you?
Yeah, it's a wee throwback to, I believe it's the 81 top, I think. If my memory serves me right, or 80. Yeah, 81, 82. So yeah, I like a collar. It looks really nice, and a lot of people are saying it's the first time they're going to buy a top because they quite like it. So you can
I'll
cut
be
the
honest.
collar off. You can cut the collar off.
First impressions, Brian, were no, I don't like that. But I always say that until I actually see the top, and then when I see the top, I always go, "That's actually quite nice."
I was just about to say, just hold anybody that's saying they don't like it just now, hold fire till you see it in person, because when you see it in person, it's completely different.
I'm still one of these people, though. I firmly believe you should only have a new kit every 2 years, every second season. I think there should be a gap in between.
Yeah,
I'm just a wee bit old school like that.
that used to be the case.
Mm-hmm. I prefer it, but it's a money thing now, isn't it? So
Yeah, I'm afraid it is.
there's not really a lot you can do about that. But yeah, it'll be interesting when I actually get to see it up close. But first thoughts were it looks a bit cheap. And I know that Ian Thompson said that in the comments, and I kind of agree. But it's a grainy picture, you know.
Correct.
So I'll wait and see.
Hold
How
fire
it
till you see it in real life.
Yes. Brian, Cyril Dessers on the score sheet again this season. 53 games played, 26 goals, 0.7 goals per 90, 0.79 goals and assists per 90. He's got an XG of 0.68 per 90, so he's actually scoring more than what his XG would have you believe, which when you watch him is hard to believe. But 26 goals in 53 games, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, there was a guy watching the game on a phone in the golf club on Sunday, and he says, "Oh, Dessers has scored. The Rangers have scored, but it's offside." And I just turned around and went, "Oh, was it Dessers by any chance?" And he went, "Yes, it was." And I was like, "Well, shocker, really. I couldn't believe it." It's just, don't get me wrong, right? The guy scores
again.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's the offsides, it's the chances missed. It's just not a. The thing is, I don't dislike the guy. I like him, but he's not a number 9 starter for us. I'm sorry. I'll die that hill. I'm just not having him as a out and out number 9 for Rangers. I'm just not. Fair enough. He scored 20 odd in 50 games, whatever it is, but for me, he's just not a number 9 for me.
He's scored 15 goals in the league in 33 games. Right. Mm-hmm. He's 1 and 2 in the Champions League. That's 1 goal in 2 games, 3 goals in 12 games in the Europa, 3 goals in 2 games in the Scottish Cup, and 4 goals in 4 games in the League Cup. His actual numbers, I don't really think many people can really complain about too much. But the fact that we're not winning anything, Brian, the fact that he doesn't take the easy chances, and we've not won enough games. If we'd been sitting here on joint points with Celtic going into the last couple of games of the season, with Cyril Dessers' goal record, I don't think there would be too many complaints.
No, but if we're sitting here expecting or accepting a number 9 to be 1, scoring a goal every second game, then that's the big problem we've got. We should be accepting a guy scoring 1 every 2 games, getting the chances that a striker gets in the SPL. Yes, Ian, I know you sent me that stat about him being the best in the SPL minutes per goal, but no, I said a couple of seasons ago that if we went with Dessers as number 9, we weren't winning anything, and I was proven right. I've said it's been 2 seasons now. I've been saying since we need shot of Dessers. He's don't get me wrong, he's a good backup, but he'll never ever convince me that he should be our number 9, our number 1 choice number 9. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying his actual, when you sit down and look at his goal record, if somebody was looking at that, you'd be thinking we can get some money for him because his goal record's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if somebody comes in and offers money, and I'll drive him. I like driving, so it doesn't matter where it is. I'll take him anywhere.
You do like driving, Brian? I must admit,
I do. Like yeah. So I'll happily take him anywhere he wants to go. It's not a problem. But he's just not enough. He's just not the number 9 we need. Simple as that. And that's nothing against personally against the big lad, because I think the big lad's actually, his resilience towards criticism is quite frighteningly good. I wish a lot of the other players had the resilience that he had, because nothing seems to bother Dessers. He seems to get on with it and takes everything on the chin, which is amazing to see. But no, I'm afraid he's just not a number 9 for me. He's not a Rangers number 9 for me. Sorry.
No, that's fair enough. And that is fair enough. And that is where we shall leave it today, folks. We will be back at your regularly scheduled slot time of 12:30 tomorrow. Finally getting myself back to normality. Bryan, my friend, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes. Anything else you want to add?
Do you want to do the advertisement for tonight?
Yes, we have the women's show on at 6:30 tonight after the good Old Firm win yesterday. I believe it was a nervous, gritty performance, but a win nonetheless, and the league is back in their hands. So it's going to be a good discussion tonight, because I dare say Wolf and Carr will be very pleased, because I think Carr was getting a bit of a ribbon for being the sort of bad omen going to these games. So I think that monkey's finally off her back. So
yeah, she tries to blame me for it. So she does. But it's all Carr's fault.
No. So Wolf, I think everybody will be in good form tonight. It's back in our own hands. If we win both the remaining league games, Rangers win the league. So it's going to be. This is a big week for Rangers. Hearts on Wednesday.
Big week.
Hibs on Sunday.
Big week for
massive week for Joe. Massive week for Joe Potter. Because Hibs have been the bogey team for us this year. Big time.
Well, I mean, we're not going to turn this into the women's pod, but I think there's a few people who would be a bit unhappy right now. But that's at 6:30, and then at 7:30 you do, of course, have your Monday night rabble as well. So thank you for all the people who have tuned in at the irregular time of 1:30. Like I say, we'll be back to normal tomorrow. We'll see as many of you as we can for the women's pod tonight at 6:30, and then of course we're back at 7:30. So thank you, Bryan. Thank you, everybody in the comments. Thank you, everybody watching back and listening back across the Talk Sport Fan Network. Thank you all so much, and we shall speak very, very soon.